Close your eyes and imagine this. You are thousands of miles away from your home, caught in the middle of one of the most brutal wars in human history. You are a prisoner of war in a strange, unfamiliar country. Your stomach is empty, your heart is heavy, and everything you know feels out of reach. Then, unexpectedly, you're offered something entirely new, an American hamburger. What would this simple bite mean to you? For many Japanese POWs in the United States during World War II, that first bite of an American hamburger was so overwhelming it brought them to tears. This is not just a story about food. To truly understand this story, we need to look back at the realities faced by Japanese prisoners of war during World War II. After battles across the Pacific, thousands of Japanese soldiers were captured and sent to POW camps in the United States. These camps were scattered across remote parts of the country, from the deserts of Arizona to the heartlands of Texas and California. Life in the camps was tough. Prisoners faced the psychological torment of captivity, worry for their families back home, and the sheer uncertainty of their fate. The Geneva Convention set guidelines on how prisoners should be treated, but cultural misunderstandings and wartime animosities often made the situation complicated. One of the biggest adjustments for these men was the drastic change in their diet. Many had never seen or tasted American food before. In Japan, the typical diet of the time was centered around simple, fresh ingredients, steamed rice, fish, vegetables, and very little meat. Meals were balanced, seasonal, and carefully prepared. In stark contrast, American military food was often processed, heavy, and very different in flavor and presentation. The hamburger, now an iconic American dish, was almost unheard of in Japan. Imagine the cultural shock these prisoners experienced when first encountering this strange sandwich, a ground beef patty placed between two slices of bread, topped with pickles, onions, or ketchup. Some prisoners were suspicious, some hesitant, and others eager to try. The exact details vary, but the emotional impact was undeniable. When the Japanese POWs finally took a bite, many were moved to tears. It wasn't just the taste, it was what that taste represented. Some felt nostalgia for a home-cooked meal, others a profound gratitude or surprise at the kindness shown by their captors. For a moment, despite the war, despite the prison fences, these men experienced a human connection, one made possible through food. This hamburger was not just nourishment, it was a symbol of hope, of peace, and of shared humanity. Food carries deep cultural meaning. It tells stories about people, history, and identity. For the Japanese POWs, the hamburger was a symbol of the unfamiliar but also a bridge to the captor's culture. This story challenges the idea that enemies must be strangers or forever divided. Instead, it suggests that kindness can emerge in the most unlikely places. Food, in this case, became a form of silent communication, transcending language barriers and cultural differences. This moment also reveals the power of simple acts during war, reminding us that compassion and humanity can exist even amidst conflict. Some former POWs later recalled the hamburger moment as a rare bright spot during dark times. They spoke of how food was not just about survival but also about emotional comfort. One soldier reportedly said, "That first hamburger tasted like a piece of freedom." Others mentioned how sharing meals led to small friendships, understanding, and mutual respect between prisoners and guards. Though enemies on the battlefield, these men found moments of peace around the dining table. What can we learn from this story today? The world remains divided in many ways, politically, culturally, and socially. Yet, this story reminds us of the bridges we can build through simple, human acts. Food remains one of the most powerful connectors, whether it's sharing a meal with family, trying a dish from a new culture, or breaking bread with a stranger. In an increasingly globalized world, embracing these connections is more important than ever. I want to hear from you. Have you ever had a food experience that opened your eyes to a new culture or brought unexpected emotions? Maybe you tried a dish that surprised you, comforted you, or made you feel connected to others. Share your story in the comments below. Let's celebrate how food can unite us all.